Morgan Freeman and what's his name? He was in
Kevin Kline.
what?
Kevin Kline in it.
Yes, Kevin Kline. No, wait.
I love that.
Yeah,
Movie.
yeah. Isn't that a fabulous movie?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, yeah. One of my favorites.
Come again, Rabbi? I had a little internet.
Oh, I was just Debbie asked
Which
what
movie?
are Grand Canyon. It's called Grand Canyon. It's with Morgan Freeman and Kevin Kline, and there is a actress whose name I'm forgetting.
I'll think of it in a minute.
Yeah, it's a
Noon.
all right. So hi everybody.
Morning.
Good morning. It occurred to me that these tenant noons are generally relatively serious, and while I think that that is appropriate for our time and place, I thought that this morning I might share with you some jokes, because maybe that might be just laughter is also a meditative therapy. So I'm there's anyway. So these are these are jokes about parenting, about Jewish parenting. Hey, Colin. A mother is having a very tense relationship with her 14-year-old son. Screaming and fighting. Oh, sorry. Screaming and fighting are constantly going on in the house. She finally brings him to a psychoanalyst. After two sessions, the doctor calls the mother into his office. Your son, he tells her, has an Oedipus complex. Oedipus Schmedipus, the woman answers, as long as he loves his mother. Goldstein has been in analysis for 10 years, seeing his doctor 4 times a week. Finally, the analyst tells him that they've achieved all their goals. He doesn't have to come back anymore. The man is terrified. Doctor, he says, I've grown very dependent on these meetings. I can't just stop. The doctor gives Goldstein his home phone number. If you ever need to, he says, call me anytime. 2 weeks later, Sunday morning, 6 a.m., the phone rings in the doctor's house. It's Goldstein. Doctor, he says, I just had a terrible... I dreamed you were my mother, and I woke up in a terrible sweat. So what did you do? I analyzed the dream the way you taught me in analysis. Yes? Well, I couldn't fall back to sleep. I went downstairs to have some breakfast. What'd you have? Just a cup of coffee. You call that a breakfast? A few more. I was looking these up before. Hold on just a second. Oh. 2 women, good friends, leave their teenagers at home for a few days and check into a fancy resort. Just before dinner, one of the women invites the other to join her in the bar for a martini. I never drink, the woman answers. Why not? In front of the children. I don't think it's right to drink. And when I'm away from the children, who needs to? Four reasons that we know that Jesus was Jewish. He was 30, unmarried, and still living with his mother. He went into his father's business. He thought his mother was a virgin, and his mother thought he was God. Oh, here's a good one. Jewish brains, Jewish braininess. In the early 1900s, an old Jew is traveling alone in his compartment on the Trans-Siberian Railroad. The train stops and an officer in the Tsar's army gets on. He and the Jew travel for a while in silence. Suddenly, the officer grabs the Jew by the lapels and demands, "Tell me, why are you Jews so much brighter than anyone else?" The Jew is silent a moment, then responds, "It's because of the herring we eat." The officer quiets down and the trip resumes. Soon the Jew takes out a piece of herring and starts to eat it. The officer asks him, "How many more pieces of herring do you have?" "A dozen." "How much do you want for them?" 20 rubles, a big sum of money. The officer takes out the money and gives it to the Jew. The old man gives him the herring, and the officer takes a bite. Suddenly he stops. "This is ridiculous," he says. "In Moscow, I could have bought all this herring for a few kopecks." "You see," says the Jew, "it's already working." All right, one more. Is this the one I wanted? Yes. A Jew comes from Europe to the Lower East Side and applies for the job of shamus at the Rivington Street Synagogue. The synagogue's leaders are ready to hire him when they find out that he is illiterate. They decide it would not be appropriate for the synagogue to hire such a man. The Jew leaves and starts peddling merchandise door to door. He does well and soon purchases a horse and wagon. He continues to do well and opens a store, then another. Finally, he is ready to open 5 more stores, but he needs a bank loan. He meets with the bank president and asks for a $50,000 loan. The president grants it and gives him the contract to sign. The man puts down an X. The president is shocked. "Are you illiterate?" The man nods. "And even so," the president says, "you were able to build up such a big business. Imagine what you would have accomplished had you been able to read and write." "Yes," the man says, "I would be the shamus of the Rivington Street Synagogue." Oh, I didn't see Richard's the joke teller. You can unmute yourselves, y'all. This is a different kind of 10 at noon. Just didn't feel like being so heavy serious today, but rather to see your faces and then to see the laugh. And what's funny, of course, is that there's a delay. So I get to the punchline and I look at you and you're not laughing yet. It takes like 2 more seconds for the joke to end. You'd have to be a really solid, experienced comedian to do stand up in front of like on Zoom.
So
We should have been unmuted when you did the joke so we could laugh.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because laughing doesn't need to be synchronous.
Right.
So
Tough for a comedian with no feedback.
Right, exactly.
Rabbi Scott, maybe somebody else has another good joke?
Well, I would go to Richard first because Richard seems to have endless.
I was sending him a signal.
Richard, you happen to have anything ready to go?
No, because if I tell you all here, then I can't post it on Facebook. So
But your face is turning bright red, Richard. So you gotta have
like
something,
you have one.
it's the
something
shirt.
in your head.
You look like you have one, just right there.
I may, but it may not be appropriate. So I'm going to pass.
Yeah.
Similar to one of these other ones.
Yeah, the book that I was looking at, there's definitely a few that I read. I'm like, no, I can't read that.
No.
Rabbi Scott,
Yeah.
just as a follow-up to your last joke, there's a famous story that I was privy to some time ago when I was a member of the HAL PC League users group, and they had a guest who had been at Harvard with this is terrible. The founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates. And this guy graduated, and of course, you'll remember that Bill Gates never graduated. Anyway, the moderator says, "Well, tell me, what do you think a Harvard degree is worth these days?" And he said, "Oh, about a minus 60 billion.
Right, right, right. Yeah, he probably doesn't imagine how he could have done better. Right. Well, oftentimes this is more often than not unidirectional, but I'm sort of inviting. How is everybody feeling right now? We've just started August. We've been at this since March. I mean, it's been happening longer than that, but I think we've all been fully conscious and impacted by COVID, specifically, since March. And I can tell you, I wasn't thinking about August in March, that we were going to still be here. It became clear, I think, by May. But everyone, how are y'all doing? How are you coping?
It's getting like throat. It's automatic now.
What is?
The staying indoors and putting on a mask and yeah, and ordering groceries and it's just become
relatively normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning, it kind of felt like Groundhog Day.
Mhm.
And now it's, I don't know. This is what we're doing.
I'm ready to bust out.
You're ready to bust out.
Right.
I hear you.
Mhm.
I hear you.
Well, I haven't been looking forward to August because that's when my son moves. So I was hoping this would it really did move slowly, but now it feels fast.
Yeah, it seems like, and it's like every Friday afternoon when we're getting ready for services, David and I look at each other and go, how did another week go by so fast?
Yeah, exactly.
The minutes are very, very slow, but
Yeah.
in reality, and it's, most of y'all probably already know I'm kind of a bit of a control freak, and not having control over so many things is not easy. But what are we going to do? We just, at some point, you sort of surrender.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do to make the best of it for yourself. That's why Dee and I, I'm so glad that I'm sorry we've needed to make masks to donate, but it's something that has really helped keep us step 1 for 20, step 2 for, however you schedule yourself. And then you have this little accomplishment, then the next one, then the next one. And it helps to, feel like you have some control over something.
True.
Yeah.
And a feeling that you're actually doing something that's helpful, even if it's in a minor way.
And it is hugely helpful. And,
Right.
I miss some Friday regular people.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I miss some Friday regular people that regularly go to services. I don't see them online and I miss them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Reach out to them.
I will.
It's a good idea. Well, I'm going to just really briefly offer a mishaberach for us, for our society, for our community, particularly for friends, particularly for those names that are in our list, in our chat. I understand that Chuck Thrall is making progress, albeit incremental, but he is making progress, and we pray that his journey and that of others continues to move in a positive direction. Nishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech et hacholim v'yishlach lachem refuah shlema refuat hanefesh refuat haguf b'toch shar chalev Yerushalayim. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah bless all the sick, all those who are struggling, specifically with COVID, and with all of the ills of our society that are becoming more and more painful and acute. May we all find, may our society find, and may those who suffer find healing and wholeness as they take steps forward in positive and healing directions.
Amen.
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 May the laughter take you forward.
Thank you.
Rabbi Scott.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you.